Now, I want you to hear the retired Area 51 S4 physicist.
The layered magnesium zinc alloy with bismuth, that is an electrogravitic rectifier. In other words, as it is energized, it wants to propulse in a particular direction based upon the orientation of the layers. In order to use the materials you have, you first need the structure of the craft, which is made of aluminum, which is 20% by weight monoatomic iridium dispersed throughout the aluminum in a crystalline pattern. When you energize that with the drive energy, it blocks gravity field energy from interacting with the aluminum structure and anything within that structure. So it becomes weightless. You can push it around very easy. You put that on the outside of the craft, that's the skin of the craft, the outer skin. You can apply energy to the entire craft up to a point where it is not affected by gravity at all. It has no inertia, it has no apparent mass, no weight. And you could push it around, and then you reinforce the energy stronger where you want the electrogravitic level of energy to change. It will be neutrally buoyant till the point where you apply more energy in one direction and less energy in the other direction. And because the craft has no inertia, it's just like it has no weight. So it takes very little energy to push it around. The material has to be bombarded with non-Hertzian energy. It cannot be electromagnetic. It has to be pulses, very fast pulses, very fast transition times. Electronics cannot achieve this. They have to be designed specifically for this application. As far as I know, I'm the only one that's built such a generator. I don't think anybody else has anything like that.
Did you build yours to generate the non-Hertzian frequencies?
Yes. I used technology that was actually discovered by Nikola Tesla. He called it non-Hertzian energy.
Can you explain what non-Hertzian energy is?
Non-Hertzian means that it is not comprised of sine waves. It is not alternating electromagnetic energy, electrical and magnetic. You have to strip out the magnetic, electric pulses only. And they have to be like digital, on and off, very rapidly. You're talking about femtoseconds or faster rises and fall times. Modern electronics cannot achieve that.
So how did Tesla do that?
Tesla did it electromechanically. He used contacts, commutators.
So what did his working with non-Hertzian frequencies, how did it manifest then when he was doing it versus what is happening today?
That's the entire key to be able to do wireless transmission of power. It's not done with electromagnetics. It's not done through magnetic induction. Even his coils and his transformers were not designed to utilize the magnetic field. He matched primary and secondary mass in order to get coupling.
Let's take it into outer space and go to the idea that we've got craft that have been built by advanced intelligences that use the bismuth, magnesium, zinc on the skin around an aluminum structure that has a percentage of monoiridium in it, and that the monoiridium is always trying to run away from magnetic fields. So is that how the ships are controlled, is because the monoiridium is in the aluminum?
The first requirement is get rid of gravity. So that's why the internal structure under the external skin is made of that aluminum that is 20% heavier by weight with monoatomic iridium. That material, energized to its high spin state, gets rid of gravity. The craft is weightless, which allows you to push it around, and the skin, in order to interact with gravity, has to be exterior to that. So you have an inner skin and an outer skin. The inner skin are made with aluminum and has to be made with monoatomic iridium. That blocks gravity field energy. The craft gets buoyant in our gravity field, and then the outer skin interacts with the gravity, push it around. The monoatomic iridium is locked in a crystal lattice in the aluminum structure, So it's bound to that, but it can leave. If you expose it to a strong enough magnetic field, it will depart that structure. The monoatoms will leave.
If we had the perfect, smooth, undamaged bismuth, magnesium, zinc layered material, does that relate directly to the panels that have been retrieved in some of the UFO crashes in which there are six-fingered hands in a panel that appears that the being and their mind were what were being used through the fingers and the hands to control the craft?
Yeah, they had fiber optic studs at the fingertips, and the fiber optics went back to the control system.
Can you paint the picture of details as you understand it? The link between the being, the mind, the hands, and the fact that these craft have the bismuth, magnesium, zinc skin covering the aluminum that has the mono-iridium built into the crystal structure of the aluminum.
It's a complete package. In other words, it's designed to integrate and work together. Their control system is what drives everything. All they have to do is direct it through their finger action on the control panel. The control system, which I would call their flight control computer, would interpret those and provide the necessary drive energies to the various subsystems of the entire craft.
Are they working with their mind, thinking impulses?
I really couldn't answer that because all I had to work with was the materials that were recovered to be analyzed. How it actually operated within the alien craft, I really couldn't tell you. They detonated the power plant prior to crashing.
To self-destruct.
They didn't want it falling into our hands. And they didn't think that we had the technology to figure out the special state materials that were in the craft. And for a long time we didn't figure out because we were going about it wrong in trying to analyze it using standard DC arc spectroscopic analysis. It can only be done if you use a sheath gas so that you can extend the burn times to keep the electrodes from burning away. Once you extend the burn times, then you're able to overload the monoatomic materials and cause them to drop out of their high-spin state. When they drop out of high-spin state, they give off a photon of gamma radiation, and then they start charging back up again. Only at that time, when it drops out of high-spin state, can it be read.
Let's say that we were within 100 feet of one of these craft. We now know from the DI-55 MOD study that was finally unclassified in 2006 that it talks about how terahertz frequencies can damage human tissue and manipulate human minds.
It can damage DNA.
Yeah, is it the bismuth, magnesium, zinc layered skin that is emitting the terahertz frequency that can damage human tissue and manipulate human minds?
It's actually the drive energy that's going through the materials, penetrating and radiating out from the craft.
Can you explain that in more detail?
No, I can't.
Because?
We're delving into highly classified areas here.
But we know how to work with this bismuth, magnesium, zinc skin now, and are we also working with aluminum that has mono-iridium in it?
Yes. And that information has leaked out over the years. But there are weapons technologies that are based upon what you were just discussing, and I can't get into it because those are active weapon systems.
Going back to a craft, the way they were described in documents is that they were wedge-shaped, and this bismuth magnesium was all over the bottom of the wedge-shaped craft.
It was all over the craft, not just on the bottom.
Have you personally seen one of the extraterrestrial wedge-shaped craft with the bismuth, magnesium, zinc skin intact?
Yes.
Can you describe that?
More like the shape of a flattened egg, elongated, pointed oval. More pointy in the front than it is at the rear.
Can you give us details about what you were seeing in this craft because you were studying the bismuth, magnesium, zinc material?
That one I was inspecting the craft, and I really can't get into that because that's never been declassified.
Was the bismuth, magnesium, zinc all throughout the entire skin of that craft?
Yes, the only place it wasn't was where the portholes were.
How many beings could that particular type of craft accommodate?
I'd be speculating, but there was 2 flight positions. That's pretty much all I can tell you.
2.
2.
And did you see the beings that had been in that craft?
No.
Did you see photos?
No.
Did somebody describe to you which type was in there?
No. All I saw was after I left, I've seen some stuff that was on Santilli film. I never actually saw any alien being. I didn't work in that area. I was a scientist. I worked on technology.
But you did see the panels with the 6-fingered imprinted hands.
Yeah. A thumb and 5 other digits, yeah.
And that matches the Santilli film from 1995. Did you see film, video, or photographs of any part of the interior of the craft beyond the 6-fingered embedded panels?
I personally went in the craft, so my observations are what I saw when I was inside the craft.
Can you describe what you saw and if there were any symbols or hieroglyphs?
Yes, there were, but they're not visible until you remove inspection covers. Like I said, I can't really get into that because that particular aspect of what I worked on was never declassified.
Do you have any insights about the match of ancient Greek to the symbols inside of these craft, of which the skin is the bismuth, magnesium, zinc layered metal?
I can't do that. I can't give that information out publicly.
But you do have knowledge.
Yes. I can say this much. There have been more advanced civilizations on this planet prior to us that were far more advanced than we are today.
The highest technology and advancement here has been what type?
Well, there's evidence that we've been to the moon before, and there's evidence that we've been to Mars before.
And it isn't we, Homo sapiens sapien.
Prior civilizations that were living on this planet.
And those prior civilizations on the moon and on Mars, do you know if the symbols that you saw with your own eyes on the ship that you were studying, the bismuth, magnesium, zinc, were the symbols on the moon and on Mars?
There are symbols on some of the remnants of structures on both.
And that's exactly what Spartan 1 told.